Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Paddle Talk podcast. It is episode 65 on our Paddle Talk journey, and we've got a great show for you this week. We've got Kai's Peak uphill snow drags. Special guest Cam Boyd coming on with us there, talking about the race and results. Also talking a little bit of Jesse McComas news and MacDaddy Racing, and wrap it up with Dome Valley preview for this very weekend. So stay tuned. We've got a great show for you, all brought to you by our friends at Racing in the Dirt. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Paddle Talk podcast. We're talking all thing Kai's Peak. Apparently, I was saying the name wrong this entire time, and I'll own that one. But in my defense, Midwesterner slang, you look at it, it looks like Keys, Kai's. Okay, fine, whatever. It's a Wisconsin thing. But anyway, freshly back from that, this episode and segment sponsored by our friends from Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, they are ready to help make your 2025 race season the best that it can be. So call them today, area code 920-673-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. All right. Or you can find them on Facebook or find them on the web at racinginthedirt.com. Chain drives, chassis parts, full builds, you name it, they can do it. So contact them today to get your race season underway. racinginthedirt.com. All right. So that being said, we are joined by Mr. Cam Boyd. Thanks for coming on, Cam. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks
Cam
for
was
having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Cam was the Class E, or what do they call it, like Pro Mod?
It's basically open DOT tire, so anything goes, but you got to have a cut tire or
Perfect.
a DOT tire.
Yeah. So he was our class winner at the Kai's Peak Hill Climb. It was a great time. You've been there since it started, I think, Cam, correct?
Yep. We've been there every year. Taken a couple of different cars up there, but been there every year and participated as much as we can.
Yeah, and you did a great job. So, okay, what's it like hanging the trans brake, not knowing which way it's going to go or if it's going to go at all, or what's that like on the hill?
You know, you learn a lot in that first pass as to what it's going to do. Obviously, this year we went out first pass, and you were able to use a trans brake. After that, once the good snow got blown off, it was all ice, and I'm going to say your trans brake was your worst enemy, and it was just a pedal fest after that. But definitely a driving game. Every time you pull the starting line, it's never the same track twice.
So in that final with Jason Benson, if I remember correctly, you kind of hung that thing way off to the almost outside of the lane, almost trying to find a little traction. And once
Yep.
that Bronco got rolling, it was on a big pass, and Jason was all kinds of out of shape. Do you even look over that, or you just concentrate on your lane and trying to get A to B?
Honestly, I left the line and it went immediately right. And once we got into some decent snow, it was like, well, we got one shot at this, and we poked it and it bit and it went up through there. And honestly, I was looking for him at the top of the hill because it kind of went towards the center line. But it was a good time. There's a lot going on in a short period of time.
I can honestly say when you went to the right, you could watch the people turn their backs and also try to start stepping out of the way, because I think everybody was expecting a big blast of snow coming down once you started moving to the right, and everybody kind of knew what was going to happen. So,
Oh yeah, I definitely had to go apologize to some of my buddies that were standing at the tower because they got a whitewash for sure.
I feel like it just comes with the territory, though. If you're going to stand down there, you kind of got to expect it a little bit. So,
Absolutely.
so did you run 3 classes then? So you run like D, E, and F? Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
I actually ran the car in F and E class, and then my dad ran it in D class.
Okay. And he took
So,
somebody for a ride, didn't he?
yep. He took one of the guys that's helped with this event from day one. Matt and Ray cornered me and asked if I would take him for a ride, and uh, we weren't allowed passengers in E and F class because of safety reasons, and then ended up sticking him in with my dad, and we took him for a ride and kind of gave him a taste of what we do and an appreciation.
That's awesome. Now, Cam,
So
for our listeners that don't know what kind of vehicle you have, obviously you ran those 3 different classes, but what would you run it in? You said on DOT tires, which were cuts in your case, but tell
Yep.
us a little bit about the setup.
Yep. So it's got a set of 44 comp cuts on the back, 33 V cuts on the front. Um, you know, it's a 565 or 568-inch big block, it's actually our backup motor right now. Um, a little bit of nitrous on it, but D class is all DOT tire. F class, anything goes. We can put scoops on it. So we had a set of 36-inch bigger diggers on it, just because you can't really over tire something in the snow. And
Mm-hmm.
then D class was actually, we were able to run any tire that we wanted to. So we could have put the scoops back on it. But most of the time with the ice and stuff like that, all you're going to do is tear up a set of scoops pretty good. So we left the 44s on it as just kind of a shot in the dark to see what it would do.
And what's a little bit of nitrous considered?
So I got 200 on the first kit and 200 on the second kit on that one.
Okay. Only
So,
400 horse total.
yep,
That's a little bit of
right.
nitrous, folks.
yep, yeah. It was kind
Not
of
too
wild
crazy.
because I've always been one to automatically turn everything and throw the kitchen sink at it. But with the track conditions this year, I ended up turning it down, and I had to look at my dad and go, "I've never done this before."
So yeah, tell us a bit about those track conditions. We were definitely hearing that the right lane in particular was extremely challenging for everybody. So
Yeah.
tell us how big that difference was left to right.
Yeah, the both lanes got pretty icy there towards the end. But if you got into the left lane, you were able to get more towards the outside along the woods line, kind of, and got out of, where everybody was too scared to get that far over. So we were pushing the limits on that side, and you could actually get some traction. The right lane, they'd used the whole thing up, and it was just a solid block of ice. So, it was kind of it was weird because you almost were better off leaving the line at like quarter throttle, which is hard as hell to do with a guy sitting on the trans brake next to you. To be able to leave the line like that is real tricky.
Yeah, I noticed that was especially with like E and F, or I should say D and E. It seemed like the guys that could kind of, walk it out of that first, 15, 20 foot actually were doing better than the real high horsepower guys and were just throwing the sink at it, right off the bat. I mean, there were trucks that literally we heard them come off the trans brake and almost didn't move, but you knew they were, something was going on because you could see them shake. All 4 tires are just spinning. It was crazy. I mean, very different from what we're normally used to. So,
Yeah, no, it was definitely weird. Like I said, even when I raced Benson that time, Benson was on the 2-step sitting there, and I'm sitting there idling, and it was like, left the line at like $3,000 and just kind of played with it a little bit, and then was able to get after it. It's definitely a driving game for sure.
absolutely. So, all right, Damian Bowers, questions for Cam?
I know that truck, it's relatively new, really, when you think about it in the sand and mud world, especially up this way. I believe you guys got that out of Florida, correct?
Yep, we got that from I believe Jeremy Hauser was his name.
Yep.
No. Yep,
Yeah,
we got it.
Definitely a good looking truck.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very well built. We got it and ended up putting a passenger seat in it, changing a few little things on it, but for the most part, it's still pretty much the same truck as when we got it from him.
Now, you said you were running your backup motor, so what's the normal motor?
The normal motor's a 598 with a fogger on it, but my dad actually had it up there last year, and we had a rod let go, and it was a total loss. And you know,
Ouch.
just kind of working on getting it put back together. And I actually had an opportunity from a buddy. This is actually out of a street truck motor that we'd been doing, and that's kind of ultimately where the C class up at Wisconsin came from, is an open street, and that's what that motor was actually in. So I got the opportunity to buy that, and we got it slid down in there and got it up there and had some fun with it.
It definitely worked out on that hill, especially in the cut tire class when that hill's completely wore down at the starting line.
Oh yeah, and that's the fun part about snow racing is you don't have to go up there with the biggest horsepower and win. It comes down to lane choice, luck of the draw, and just playing with it and getting the power to the ground.
Now,
You know,
any
it's funny you say that because I look at the results and stuff, and you look at what I would call the big three classes, D, E, and F, and the nitrous cars are very well represented there. Jason Benson being the really only real big power, what I would call big power adder guy, that made a final out of those three classes. Everybody else was either nitrous car like you guys are, or Jeff Miller, who is just an aspirated big block.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely hard to those big power cars, to turn them down enough to actually get them to hook and leave the line. It's definitely tricky.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, hey, let's go through some results here. So we're going to start off with A class, which is full body street trucks, plated, insured, the whole 9 yards, no gutting. Cam, and if you know of something I'm forgetting on some of this stuff, feel free to chime in as well. This is really like daily driver, no power adder type of stuff. Third place was Nick Simbob. Second place was Bob Clemo. And first place was Corey Lauer. And Corey, actually, that's that gray Cummins crew cab diesel out of Iowa. So he actually won the A class. So that is a full body street truck. It is a turbo, but that was factory, so it's not a true power adder like a nitrous truck or something like that. So, all right. So on to B class. B class is kind of where our Ranger would fit in. Also full body kind of street trucks, but you allowed a bunch of gutting and stuff. Third place was a diesel, Jeff Cruz. Second place was Tony Raggio. And I believe, is that the guy that's got that old school Bronco?
I believe so, yes, but I guess I don't know.
I don't know for sure either. And first place is Joe Johnston in a Ford Ranger with a small block in it. So he tried to tell me it was a stock 302. I'm here to say, man, that is definitely not the full honest truth. All right. I mean, I realize Joe and I had just met, but I feel like that was a little premature of going that direction.
Sounding like an East Coast racer.
Right. All right. C class, which is open street, which is basically same street trucks and stuff. You can run a power adder. You start seeing turbos, any tire, that sort of thing. Also, B class, you can also run, I believe, any tire there, or at least cut DOTs. Third place was Ross Gruen with that really nice silver and like orange colored square body. That's I don't know if it's a twin or a single turbo truck out of my area. Second place was Tyler Barrett. We talked before we got on here, kind of struggles they had that weekend of some water deciding to make itself into a solid in their intercooler overnight. Yes,
and
Davey.
that's a fresh turbo and tune on that Jeep too. They just upgraded the turbo in that Jeep.
Yes. And now they'll be upgrading the intercooler because
note to self, folks, antifreeze actually works to not freeze.
I was telling the guys on here ahead of time, it was 8 on my truck when I came out of the hotel Saturday morning. And yeah, I knew there was a possibility somebody was going to have a problem, and that's what happened. And then C class winner, Larry Brocker with that green CJ7, which I tell you what, there's a guy that's kind of come on in the last year, won a couple of bracket races at Silverback last summer, takes the win in Class C open street here at the Snow Hill Climb. So Larry making himself a little bit of a name for himself as well. So, all right, Class D is any chassis, any tire, but no power adder. This would be the class that Brendan Willis was in with his buggy and stuff. And Brendan actually takes third with that car. Second place was Jeff Miller, the Endgame Jeep. Jeff doing some pretty good driving over the weekend and putting that big block in second place. And first place, another Ford-powered ride, Matthew St. John out of Iowa and that Colorado. Now, notice I said Ford-powered and Colorado in the same sentence. That was not a misprint.
Blasphemous, Isaac.
Cam Boyd, that is a nice piece in that thing. I don't know if you got to look at it or not.
Oh, yeah.
That is a heck of a big block in that thing.
Yeah, Matt's definitely got a nice car there.
Absolutely. So I had seen some pictures of it before with the wrap and everything. And just for equal opportunity reporting purposes, the wrap did not look so good Saturday night after the race. I'm just throwing that out there.
The crew did not like the cold.
No, or the ice. All righty. And then Class E, any chassis, DOT with power adder. Third place, again, Jeff Miller with his carbureted big block in that endgame Jeep. Second place, Mr. Jason Benson, who as of Thursday night, apparent 100%. We did not think he was going. Nobody thought he was going. And then all of a sudden, I get this message. I'm at work Friday. The Jeep is on its way. I'm like, wait, what? What Jeep? What? Who are we talking about here?
They had to do a lot of work to that front end, from what I understand, because when they went to go to load it up earlier last week, the front end housing was bent to hell.
I tell you, man, that's some dedication. And our Class E winner, our guest for tonight, Mr. Cam Boyd. So congratulations again, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. And then Class F, any chassis, any tire, power adder class. Third place, Tyler Barrett. They got some laps out of that Jeep this weekend. And I tell you what, for being a somewhat streetable ride, that is really impressive. I mean, and actually, you know what? Seriously, maybe having the intercooler not being able to be used may have actually helped them a little down on power and help that thing actually get out of the hole without just massacring the tires all the time.
I mean, was an intercooler really necessary in that weather?
You know, I don't know. Well, you know what? We need Michael McCord to come on here so we can pick his brain on all things tuning and that sort of thing. So maybe we'll have him on and we'll put him on the spot. All right. Second place was Mr. Matthew St. John in that Colorado. And first place, yes, I remembered who it was. Just, before I start getting a bunch of flack on here, Mr. Todd Bilesma in the green Jeep. So it was good to see Todd out.
Green Jeep.
The green Jeep. That's right. Not the wine time Jeep, the green Jeep. So, when they got done, I said, hey, are you coming back for another class or something? And Joe Holtoff was up there. He goes, no way, man. He says, we're putting like 2 quarts of oil that thing before every pass. He goes, we're not running it anymore on that thing.
Yeah,
was it burning it or coming out the pan?
No, it ended up, he really likes his vacuum pump, and it ended up taking a crap on him, and it pushed the intake gaskets out of it from the sound of it.
Yes.
That'll do that.
Yeah, there was oil all over the firewall, and there was oil all over the front of the motor, and yeah, that's kind of what I kind of gathered was the vacuum pump decided no mas. I don't know if it just didn't like the cold or what, but it had enough of doing whatever it was doing. So, but congratulations to Todd. All right, a Class G, which is the diesel open class, which I tell you what actually turned into a pretty cool class. There were some interesting trucks in that thing. I was kind of disappointed. There was a short box regular cab Super Duty, which obviously is not factory, that was in that thing. And it just absolutely annihilated the tires when they tried to come out of the hole with it. And I don't think he made it out of the second round. But anyway, third place was our Class A street class winner, Corey Lauer out of Iowa. Second place was Bob Williams. And first place was Jeff Cruz, who interestingly took third in our Class B. So a lot of guys made it onto the podium multiple times. Jeff Cruz has this, I think, Damien, actually, you had posted it in that Hub City video, has that red and orange Duramax. And I could actually say they were flogging that thing at the end. I mean, absolutely putting the wood to it. I was like, oh, my word. I don't think Duramax likes that too much, but he was driving the snot out of that thing. Lots of wheel speed and lots of RPM. So, but yeah, I thought it was a fantastic, for my first year being up there, I thought it was a fantastic show. I thought the classes actually felt like they were very competitive all the way through. I don't know, Cam, what you kind of thought there, but it felt like there weren't a whole lot of ducks. Let's put it that way.
No, it's pretty competitive racing. And, like I said earlier, it all comes down to lane choice, and, the biggest power does not win. So, everybody has a shot at it. You just got to show up to be there.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, one other thing, when you talk about lane choice, and I didn't realize this when I first got there, but the wheel decides lane choice, correct?
Correct. Yep. So typically whoever pulls up in the right lane, they spin the wheel and that determines whether you get the right or left lane. And then obviously the other car goes into the other lane.
And I counted the wheel. The wheel has equal amount of spaces left and right on it. So there's no one way or the other either.
At least that kind of evened out.
That's right. Yes, the wheel of fate decides your lanes. And that could actually decide the round right there.
Yeah, and then a lot of times it did this weekend. I mean, like I said, that right lane, it just there was nowhere to go, and you couldn't get over any further because of the tower right there, and you just kind of had to get in it and hope for the best.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, all right. So, questions, comments, concerns from any of the other guys for Cam before we kind of get some things wrapped up here?
Well, one of the
Cam, I'll let you go first, Damien. Go for it.
I was gonna say any big events you're looking to make this year, not just up in Michigan, but maybe traveling any more?
We'd like to try and get down to some of the Texas mud drags and hit some of those. We just like traveling with the group, but now that we'd hope to get our big motor back together and get that in the car and take that. But we'll see if worst case scenario, we'll take it the way it is and go hang out with our buddies and go have some fun. But as of right now, there's no set in stone races that we're trying to attend.
Well, dang it, Damien, you took my question, so we're going to pass it over to Kato.
Hey, I got a question for you, Cam. So you're talking about you got 2 kits of nitrous. You ever thought about doing a 3rd kit?
I'd love to. Yes, I would. I am all for
Pro Truck Elite,
more
here
nitrous.
we come.
Exactly.
I like it too. You should think about it.
Yeah, we definitely will.
All right.
I mean, to run Pro
At the
Truck
hit
Elite,
too. 3 kits at the hit. That's really good.
At the hit.
Aren't you supposed to leave with them off the trans brake?
got some Harrison's, or not Harrison's, but Rick, who is it? It's got the smoking gun. My brain's drawing a blank now.
Rick George.
Yeah, Rick George. He's got what, 4 or 5 kits on that 900-inch.
Yeah, but he doesn't use all of them. He's never been able to use all of them.
But yeah, I look forward to hopefully see you come down south here to Cleves with that thing for the Texas Mud Drags. Would love to see you come down in August for gravel and try the Big Hill.
Yeah, we my dad's always wanted to do it, so you never know. We might have to throw it in the trailer and run down there.
I got something. If you guys are going to go to gravel, though, your dad's going to have to put like a blanket or something over that word that's on the tailgate on the trailer. You cannot be rolling that thing out and have that thing on there. I saw it this weekend. I'm like, oh my goodness, seriously? We need a tarp.
Yeah, no, I bought that trailer used and I got to get the door painted over on that. We thought about painting a red circle around it with a line through it, but just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love it. Cam, we greatly appreciate it. It's been great seeing you guys this weekend. Great to have you on. And, maybe Cam will make an appearance later this year. We can talk about some more racing,
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to. Definitely.
For sure, man. Come, let's, definitely August. We'll just go with that. In August, we'll talk a little more racing and we'll just leave it at that. So, all right.
Absolutely.
All right. Caleb, what you got for us?
All right, we're going to wrap up. This segment is brought to you guys by our own WSDN's John Sorg and his Fallen Legends race coming up at Silverback Off-Road Speedway August 1st and 2nd. They're going to kick off everything Friday at noon with Test and Tune. Friday night, they're going to have some racing. Saturday, going through racing all day long, 100% payouts for all classes Friday and Saturday night. And they're going to top it off with added money and plaques honoring the fallen legends of our sport. If you don't have any place to stay, you can hit up Silverback Off-Road for their RV rentals, as well as getting some rides to go out in the Silver Lake sand dunes as well. So they've got UTV rentals, trucks, Jeeps, and all of those RVs available on site for the sand drags. There are classes for everyone that weekend. Stay tuned, and John's definitely going to have some more info on that race soon.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to our next segment of the Paddle Talk podcast. brought to you as always by Racing in the Dirt, our friends out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. From turnkey builds to parts and accessories to get your ride off to its best start of the 2025 season. Contact them today. Area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or you can find them on Facebook or find them on the web at racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com. And the UPS Daily. Racing in the Dirt. All right, so we're moving on to a little more subdued segment of the program right now. We're going to talk a little Jesse McComas. For those of you that don't know, Jesse was an ATV guy based out of Michigan here. I had met him and his dad, I'm trying to remember exactly what year, but at Silver Lake. At that point in time, it was West Michigan Sand Dragway, but seemed like for an entire summer, him and his dad were showing up in the semifinals, finals of the ATV class, but one thing about them I noticed is they were both, no matter if they were running or just watching other people, they spent a ton of time down by the starting line, observing, learning, and really taking it all in ATV wise. So, K-Dub, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, so for you guys who don't know, well, I'm gonna start off by saying I might start rambling a little bit, and then so just kind of keep me contained if I kind of start going off on the rails. But Jesse was like he was out of Michigan, like you said, and he was my engine builder, and like very shortly he started at 20 years old and then built a business. Like he was the American dream where he built a business and it was thriving. It was thriving. Like MacDaddy, it was MacDaddy Racing. If you don't know, he started a Banshee business called MacDaddy Racing, and I mean, it got pretty big, and no one really kind of believed he'd be able to do it. But by this year, I mean, it was huge. So I'm already rambling already. But Jesse passed away from cancer, unfortunately, just a week ago, which is pretty sad. He left behind his wife, and then just even more sad, he had a newborn baby where he pretty much helped out until he could meet the baby, and then unfortunately passed away. But Jesse, I'm not just trying to say like he was a nice guy just because he passed away. He was honestly a really nice guy, like one of the nicest people you'd ever meet, one of the funniest people you'd ever meet. He was always around, hanging out. He'd always want to be around the Banshee world. I met him 11 years ago when he just started trying to get his business going. He did a motor for me. He bought a dyno, started dynoing myself. He built a pretty nasty little Banshee motor right there that me and him pretty much worked together on it. I funded all the parts and he poured it all for free. And then we went to a national race, not really knowing anything about what was going to happen, and we ended up getting the national record, the 425 record, which was just unbelievable at the time in 2016. Where else can I go? He was just one of those people everyone always wanted to be around, him and his dad. And then his dad passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago too. But we got a ton of memories with him. We went to Bakersfield once, and then 36 hours in a truck together. And then we ran into a tornado in Iowa, had to pull off at a gas station and shelter
Oh my gosh.
at a gas station. Got to Denver and thinking it's March, there's no more winter. Well, in the mountains of Denver, there is definitely winter still, and we slid down the mountains in a truck and trailer, like just pitch quiet, white knuckling as we're losing control down the mountains of truck and trailer with about $100,000 of drag bikes back there. And then after we finally got down safely, him and his wife in the back seat just goes, that was intense, and we just all started laughing. I mean, I hung out with them. They came up Memorial Day, and then him, his wife, his dogs all had a little camper. They brought his wife's pet squirrels that were living in the camper that she didn't want to kick out. And he would just rant and rave about that. There was just a whole bunch of walnuts in some of the drawers, and she'd just be like, "Yeah, leave that there." And then like track walk, I'm already rambling, but like he'd every race we'd always just hang out and he'd always make track guacamole for whatever reason. So we'd have to go buy the freshest avocados no matter where we were, Bakersfield, Dome, Shelton's, get avocados, make guacamole for us ready to go. So yeah, I'm gonna miss Jesse a lot. He was a pretty good guy. I mean, anytime I think I said this 10 times, but any person who's ever met him, he was always the friendliest person. He was smart too. Like I said, he was the American Dream. He started the Banshee business. His nose was in technical two-stroke manuals every almost every day when he got started. Like there's so many secrets in that motor right there. I can never sell it. I can't break it apart in front of people just because of all the secret squirrel stuff he had in there. So yeah, I think it was a big loss for the Banshee world, but yeah, I don't know where to go from there. I'm just glad he's kind of at peace now because cancer. I mean, I know it was pretty rough on him towards the end, and I'm just kind of glad he's at peace and uh, and I'm just kind of wishing the best for his wife Taylor. Taylor is one of the nicest people you'd ever meet too. She's funny, and then their newborn kid Reese, who's like a week old now. I can't wait to meet him when they do the services at some point. So I think that's kind of what I got there. Uh, I think what I can tell you now is MacDaddy Racing, they're still trying to keep the operation going. Jesse had some employees that were working for him. So his wife's trying to see the next steps of keeping the business going. The business was more parts lately, so they're trying to keep it running. They're just kind of in a transition time right now. So the off chance anyone's ordered from MacDaddy Racing and you're messaging Jesse trying to see where parts are, obviously for the last 2 to 3 weeks, his wife put out a message saying that he can't see anything through Messenger anymore, or they're not watching the Messenger from him. So just keep in contact with the Amazon store or the Best Buy, or not Best Buy, Amazon store or eBay store, wherever you're purchasing parts. So that way, Kyle's employee can kind of look at it and respond to the messages. So they're trying to keep MacDaddy alive, and I'm going to help them any way I can to just help them keep it going because I kind of want to see MacDaddy stick around a little bit. So that's kind of what I got on that right now. You guys got anything?
Yeah, I mean they don't just make Banshee parts. I mean,
Jet skis. Like he was really big into jet skis, so he had a ton of jet ski stuff, Raptor stuff. Like he had clutch kits galore. I mean, he really. It's amazing from when he was like 2021 to what he built. Like he has an $80,000 barn he built into a workshop. I mean, it was amazing what he did.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan has some MacDaddy parts on his bike. I mean, they're not just a Banshee store. So I mean, if you're out there and you've got a bike you're working on or something like that, good way to support. And you know what? There's lots of other stuff. You don't have to be a Banshee owner to have something from MacDaddy on your bike. So, Caleb Biggs, what you thinking?
Yeah, I didn't really personally know Jesse. Obviously, we got East Coast, West Coast here, but knew of him obviously in MacDaddy Racing, big name of the sport, and Jesse's definitely going to be missed. And yeah, I just want to echo, like if you are one of those existing customers or a new customer, like we definitely want to keep MacDaddy Racing alive. So hit them up on the website or the Amazon store or wherever you find their parts. And yeah, like obviously lots of Banshee stuff, but tons of stuff for drag racing ATVs of all sorts. And yeah, let's definitely support those that support us.
And then one more thing that can help, if any of you guys want to, there's a GoFundMe out for him. And then it's GoFundMe. If you just search online, GoFundMe, Jesse McComas, JesseMcComas. Anything could help because it's just such a tough time because not only Taylor, like I said, not only Taylor dealing with loss of her husband, but they got a 1 week old kid right now. I mean, I think she could use some help. And then so if any of you guys have some extra money, it doesn't have to be a lot. It could be 5, 10, 15, 25. Just anything would help.
We'll get that posted too to the WCN page as well. So you guys can check it out there. And then obviously as we find out anything on, Celebration of Life, Memorial Service, whatever, they're going to have and stuff, we'll make sure that everybody on the WCN side knows as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Very good. All right. Caleb Biggs, you want to take us out?
Well, on that somber note, support MacDaddy Racing. And also if you can, after you get past supporting Jesse and buying some parts on MacDaddy, if you got any change left over, head on over to worldsandragnews.com. check out the photo tab. We've got photos from the start of World Sand Drag News to the present day. We've got digital downloads, print options, metal prints, bamboo, framed and unframed stuff. So you guys can deck out your trophy cases, the walls of your house, in the garage, the trailer, wherever you keep your photos of all your racing memorabilia. We got you covered.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the next segment of the Paddle Talk podcast here on WSDN. Thanks for coming along with us. This segment, just like every segment, brought to you by our friends at Racing in the Dirt from Cleveland, Wisconsin. You can find them on the web, racinginthedirt.com. Find them on Facebook on their Facebook page, or you can give them a call, area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. They are ready to make your 2025 race season the best that it can be. Everything from bolt-on and weld-on parts to enclosed chain drives, to spindles, to rear and front end housings, to tires, wheels, you name it, ready to go at Racing in the Dirt. And they UPS daily. So get a hold of them, give them a call, or contact them through Facebook or the website today. That's Racing in the Dirt. All right, we are talking all things Dome Valley. And like the majority of the panel is going to be there this weekend. So, gentlemen, besides myself and K-Dub, what are we looking forward to most? Caleb Miggs, what's your coming in the gate? What is the thing you want to see?
Well, we're joined here by Tristan Graham, and I just want to see some more Buggy Dorks win in Top Eliminator. Coming out here, it's this next weekend.
Hold on. Did you just call Larry Snow a Buggy Dork?
Oh, I'm sure he'll own it.
Well, he may not be able to see it because he'll probably be in Facebook jail anyway. So.
He will be anyway. Come on.
Better than being a wing dinger.
Wait a minute. All right, never mind. Well, this is going to go off the rails quick. All right, keep going.
No, we're going to be hitting up this weekend for the Arizona Sand Drag Shootout in Dome Valley Raceway, March 14th through the 16th. And yeah, we're joined by Tristan, Tristan, you're doing a little bit of last minute race prep. Why don't you tell everybody what you got going on here to defend your title here in the Top Eliminator category?
Yeah, man. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to reoccur on this program, and I'm really respectful of what you guys are doing with sand drag racing in general. So thank you. Now, I made it through last race on a whim, man. And honestly, I can't believe we won, but we won in true triple threat fashion with broken shit. So when we ran the first two passes of the weekend were pretty good, but on the second pass, I felt like somebody reached over and grabbed the handbrake because the car just bound up real hard, and I banged high gear and it went through the back door fine. And I was like, that was weird. Well, come to find out, the pinion was starting to come apart in the rear end, and Steve Chrisman builds a good rear end, man. It stayed together all weekend, and we ended up winning the damn thing. But following that, we pulled it all apart, and every tooth on the pinion had two cracks in it. We were missing a tooth. I mean, it was battle scarred, and I just got it back today. So I'm literally in here putting the rear end together right now, and Mikey's out touching up some shit on our truck and getting ready to load it up.
Nice. Nothing like, but to be fair, I mean, we do tape early in the week. So, I mean, I feel like you're not that up against the wall yet.
No, we're good. I mean, in the sense of a 50-year-old semi truck, we're a little against the wall because, I mean, I would have left on Sunday if I had the option, man. It's a mission. But it's been a love child of ours. You know, we did the same thing as our hot rods. We've done everything to that truck. Full in frame. It's got small cam Cummins. It's all fresh with a big cam set of heads on it and bigger big cam injectors. It should make about 550. So it's same shit. It's a hot rod pulling hot rods.
I love it, man. I love it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, and Tristan, you were telling us the ring opinion in that from what Chris was saying. That thing was only rated for like 900 horse. before?
Right. Yeah. So that's a small pinion 9-inch rear end. And I just didn't know. When I was a kid, the deal was my dad was going to build me a car. So he bought the rear end and had it built for me. And then when the chassis was like halfway to 3/4 way done, I kind of took off with it and I built my car, and I owe him everything for that, because I wouldn't be where I'm at now knowing what I know if it wasn't for that. But apparently we ended up with a small pinion rear end, and those were only good for about 900 horse. And we've been hitting it over the head with, hell, I don't know, 3 times that for a while now.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That is great. Damian Bowers, you are also headed for Arizona.
Oh, definitely. A little nervous about the flight, but hey, we're going to give this a shot.
I'm pretty
We're
sure
gonna try not to drop him out of the sky, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll be sure not to jump when I'm up there.
There's plenty of really straight road between Gila Bend and Yuma. I mean, I'm sure they could just touch down and, throw you out of the door. It'll be fine.
I mean, my suitcase and camera's already out there with Farwick, so.
That is true. That is true. And in case anybody didn't catch that, yes, Kyle Farwick and that bad to the bone small block altered already in the state of Arizona at this point and ready to rip.
Baddest 4-wheel drive car in the country for 300 feet.
Yeah, and they're out there. So one really cool thing that's being added to the schedule for this event with the Arizona Sandroid Shootout is Pro Mod Unlimited is back out. So obviously you've got, the minor boys, Bobby Cottrell's going to be out there in the Flower Power Jeep. Chances are they're probably going to run both Top Alcohol and Pro Mod. Kyle's obviously going to run Pro Mod out there. We got Jimmy DePass in the Fuelish American. So it's going to be an exciting class. A lot of these guys haven't been out to Dome Valley. This is going to be Kyle's first event out there. And, Chris and the crew with Minor Racing, this is only going to be their second event. I know Jimmy's been out to this track before, but it's been a minute. And definitely more power behind the wheel of that Jeep as well. Tristan, obviously you've rubbed elbows with all these guys and stuff. Dome's a different track setup than some of the sandier setups that we're used to in the other California tracks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Dome Valley, I gotta give them hats off, man. We started going out there about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now. And when we were running that track, comparatively to Elsinore, I was losing like 1/10 of a 60-foot. And, I didn't say anything for a while because I was like, dude, you never blame the track, you blame the car. You tune the car to the scenario. And then it took me a couple races to say something, but then I was like, hey, dude, I think there's a traction issue here. I don't know what it is. You guys are smarter than I am when it comes to prepping tracks. Clearly, Dome Valley is the fucking best prep track around. But I was like, something's just not right, man. I'm not getting it. And they took that to heart, and they brought a bunch of the shutdown material back up front. That raised the track like 8/10 or 10 inches. They had to move all the lights up and everything. And then my 60-foot time's like, I've never been one to brag or say, everybody will bullshit you and say, oh, I broke the 60-foot, my rear tires. Well, the last few races at Dome Valley, I've had to brace my wheelie bar up, and I've braked the 60-foot mark with my oil pan. Like my front end's 2 feet in the air. I can't keep it down, and it's improved immensely.
Oh yeah,
they've done a great job. So traction wise, it's really good now. It's a little bit of a learning curve with the density altitude tuning there because it kind of lies to you. The density altitude will be really good. It'll be 500 to 1,400 foot below sea level there. But unless the moisture grains are down, it's hard to take advantage of that. So basically, what you'll see in a lot of case scenarios is motors will go out there and they'll be just fat, like real fat. And guys are chasing the tune-up because they're kind of getting a false sense of security with the DA. It's a little tricky to tune to, but on Jimmy's sense, man, I never doubt that fucking guy. He is so impressive. Jimmy is a bad dude. He's taught me a lot about Hemis, and he puts out a fluffy, friendly persona, but man, he's a killer, dude. I would not want to be lining up with him.
That's awesome. K-Dub, I know you want to run the turbo side-by-side out there, and you had your hand up earlier, so what's on your mind?
Oh, I'd love to run that turbo car out there. How much boost I could be making that low. I mean, how much boost I could be making that density altitude with that thing being so low. I'd be
All
crazy.
10 pounds of boost.
Oh, it's 32 pounds of boost. So you can watch your mouth, Damien. All right. My head's to smack you when I race you. So I got a question, though. I got a question for all you guys. How bad is Farwer going to beat that four-wheel drive record? By a 10th?
Oof.
And
You know,
second question, is Farwer's car really a small block? I've seen the header spread. It doesn't look like a small block to me.
we
It
can
is
talk
one of
about
those-
small blocks. Yeah. Well, it's a shame.
Small block. It's
We don't have
400
the-
inches.
Yes, small
Yeah.
block.
It is a 400-inch small block. Those are the same style of heads that were on the hammer down top fuel sand drag car when it set the record with a small block.
Oh yeah, got those Alan Johnson spread bore heads, and yeah, if we had Eric Hickey on here, he definitely would argue that ain't a small block, but it's still a small block, folks. It looks a little different, but man,
it's more small block than a lot of them grudge motors I've been seeing
That's
on
true.
the prep world.
And Kata, to answer your question, man, I don't really know, because like the one thing that I've seen is Chris Minor Racing out there, their first event at Dome Valley, they just fought the entire event. Tristan was there, and he could tell you the same. They just did not have the tune-up. They did not have the setup right for that track, and that's because they've only really raced those cars at Lake Elsinore, so it's a completely different surface. Now Farwick, I feel like is going to have a little bit better of an opportunity to adjust here. I like to compare the dirt as far as like the actual consistency of it to Brookville, just because it's a very clay heavy track. Prepped very differently though. So I think that's going to be the thing that is going to be a challenge for them. If they can get their setup right for that facility, we definitely could see a new four-wheel drive record.
I would say it's going to really lean more into what their car does, because Brookville, it being the clay-based track, the equipment we have, volunteer-based track compared to a for-profit track, Brookville's back end can get a little more hard, so it's harder to put the power down track. Whereas Dome Valley, from what I've seen pictures and videos, out the back at track's pillow soft, which is going to lead it into pouring the coals to it more out the back door.
I'm looking at the weather right now, and it looks like the weather's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot, like Caleb,
Sorry,
I think a lot of it's going to be how quick their tune-up comes around, and I think it's probably going to be somewhere between their Michigan tune-up and the Brookville tune-up is where they're going to end up kind of, being there. So I think, Dome is kind of a mix between Brookville and Michigan, just in the way the track reacts to, temperature and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, I agree. I think just like Tristan said, it all is going to depend on where their tune-up goes. And if they get it right and they're close right out of, especially if they're close right out of the box, hands down, it's going to happen. If they struggle a little bit, I think that's where, hopefully they're not pressing come Sunday afternoon.
I know out in California last year, they were within a couple hundredths of it. They went at 268, I believe, last year out in California.
Didn't Barwick have the record for a second, and then the guy edged him out?
I don't think he had the ET record, but he had the mile-an-hour record for it, and rebroke that a few different times.
The mile-per-hour record.
He does, yes, at like 124, I believe. I think it's gonna be really it's gonna be interesting to see if they kind of pick that up early. As Tristan's saying, like that track, when the sun starts to go down, it changes very quickly. And if you're not ready for that power gain, it just depends if they're going to be able to take advantage of that fully. Because obviously, Tristan, you're trying to slow down the car when you get into those nighttime conditions. If you had the ability to just go balls to the wall for every qualifying session, do you think that would help you for figuring out the setup when it gets down to those nighttime conditions?
Well, I don't know, man. I agree with that idea, but my biggest thing that I that keeps me in top eliminator is the challenge of running that number versus like pro mod and alcohol and shit. Those are really cool classes and I respect them, but I really like top eliminator because it's not a matter of who has the most money. It's who can run the number. And that's really fucking hard to do. And like you said, if you could run balls to the wall, that'd be great because you kind of have a better, I don't know, like a wideband tune on your car. But the reality of it is you just kind of got to know when to tag the brakes anymore. And I almost tagged him too much when I raced snow in the finals last race. It was close, dude. He was right up on me. So it's just a game of if your car doesn't have enough power to run the number, but you run, in the O's, you're still competitive because I can break out or I could tag the brakes too hard. You go right around me, right at the top end. So the competitive edge of that class has always kept me attracted to it. And speaking of competitive, I think you could see two things out of Farwick's camp this weekend. They're really smart dudes and their car is really well set up. So I think that there's a favorable chance to see those boys run some real gnarly numbers this weekend. But I think there's still a high percentage that they're going to go out there and fight that track. And hearing, like I talk to Esteban every day, from what I've gathered speaking to Kyle, he said that that's kind of what they're planning on doing is just coming out to learn the track and then they're going to come back. And when, I don't know, but they're going to just take this weekend to understand the surroundings and kind of get a good grasp of this place because it does take a minute to adapt to. I don't know what it is. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it takes a second to figure that place out.
And that's just about any new track you're going to see. Anytime you go someplace that's got a wildly different track surface.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see. But going to have plenty of opportunities to go out there and make some laps in that car. Let's get down to the schedule of what the weekend's going to look like. Damien's going to be on site for Friday. I'm going to join the crew Friday night after work. So I'll probably be getting there more than likely after everything wraps up. But they're going to have some open test and tune. I don't know if Farwick is going to go and take advantage of that open test and tune session. But that's going to kick off the day of Friday the 14th at noon. And then at 2:15, first session for all the heads-up classes, top alcohol, top eliminator, A-fuel, pro mod, and unlimited ATV. They also are still running that. I don't know how many ATVs are going to necessarily be out there that will run in that class, but it's open for those of you that want to run heads-up. Then they're going to go into the 395 car and ATV indexes and the 450 car indexes. They're going to get some test and tune rounds for those. Q2 of all the heads up class is going to be hitting off at 5 o'clock. So just like we were talking, that's going to be right where in that track starts to turn around. So you'll definitely see people fighting some setups towards the end of that session. They'll go into the second round of eliminations of the index classes, finish those out, and then they're going to run gambler classes for both the cars and ATVs. That is open. So Tristan, you ever think about putting the buggy in there, get some extra laps in?
You might as well. Yeah, absolutely. That's been that's kind of on the docket, I think, for this weekend. I'm gonna just try to fucking sit down and relax because I got to keep my shit together and make an effort to hold this points lead. I've never had that. I've never even won Eliminator until last race, and I finally got a car that's like right there. So if I can go out there and qualify and be right where I need to be, I'm probably going to simmer down and just put the cover on it. Kylie's car ran a 297 last race for her first 2-second pass with a broken lifter. So we put new lifters in it, fixed everything. And then, well, she ran on a couple 3.0s after that, but she's right there. So I really kind of want to focus on her hot rod and get that thing dialed in. I'm tuning hers. I'm tuning Esteban's car, and he's done a 307. So we're going to inch in on that car a little bit. And then my brother-in-law, Tennessee's hot rod, he's him and my sister have Kermit Larby's first car, the Frameworks buggy. Oh. And we just put a blower and a hat on it. So,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Sunny just had her first kid, so she's just getting adapted to that and doing a fucking great job. She's doing a great job. But Tennessee's going to be driving, and so I got to teach him how to collect himself and drive the damn thing, and then I'm going to tune that car. It's going to be – he's never done anything like this. He's done like 480s, I think, in the car when it's kind of off. So it should run – I'm hoping by the end of the weekend we're in the teens with it, and it's a nice motor. It's a 377 rocket block, small block, and it's got a nice high helix 671 on it and shit. So it should run like – the bottom end of Eliminator if he wants to. I think he'll be able to get like 309s out of it right in the neighborhood. So tuning those. Snow's not showing up. He's in Texas visiting with his family. So it'll just be in our camp. It'll be my dad, myself, Kylie, Tennessee, and Esteban, and whatever else I can get my fingers in.
All right, wait a minute.
Well, it sounds like you'd be busy.
Yeah. I got a question. Is this cat's name really Tennessee, or is that just a nickname?
So his name's Daniel, but he's from Tennessee. So
all right, that'll work.
He looks like a Tennessee. He looks like Ronald McDonald, but
Ronald McDonald.
Couldn't be luckier though. He's a fucking awesome brother-in-law. Like it's,
yeah, he's a good dude.
Being a big brother, you worry about that shit, man. You're like, please don't be a douchebag. And he is, but he's smaller than me, so it's okay. I love him.
Oh my gosh. Damian Bowers and Caleb, I expect to see some pictures of said individual from this weekend.
Oh, we got you.
Preferably some video.
We got you, Isaac. And I'm sure that he'll be running, the snot out of that buggy. Definitely cool buggy. I'm excited to see with the blower on it because that thing has had its issues, obviously, and it's gonna be good to see that car running well again. Probably we'll see it on Saturday and Sunday competition as well. Saturday they're kicking it off with the juniors with 4 different time trial passes at 10 a.m. Then they're going to go into their sportsman program. So they've got the Sport 1 ATV and Sport 1 cars. Then they'll go and basically bounce back and forth between the Sport 1 classes and the Sport 2 ATVs and Sport 2 cars. Give them their time trials, run first round, and then 2 o'clock. Top Eliminator, Top Alcohol, A Fuel, Pro Mod, and Unlimited ATV are going to be back out for their 3rd session. Then we'll go into the eliminations continuing for the sportsman classes until we're finished. 5 o'clock is again going to be the 4th and final session for Top Alcohol, Eliminator, A Fuel, Pro Mod, and Unlimited ATV. Probably going to be when Tristan goes and decides, hey, we're solidly in the field. Let's tune this sucker up and shoot for that buggy record.
Yeah,
and
man, I would love to. I feel like I'm hitting the head against the wall right now because part of the problem I'm fighting on my car is it's an old fuel motor. This is Marcus Norris's old block and heads and shit. And I have a story about that. I don't know if I've told that one, but we'll get there. Anyways, what happens is the chamber's so big, it takes a ton of volume to make boost. And I got an old 1471. I mean, it's good. I just had it rebuilt, but I'm never going to see more than like 34 pounds of boost. And I think I need to see like 44 pounds of boost to run a 70 something.
So what you're saying is you need a C rotor.
Approximately, yes. There's a couple little tricks. I have a set of heads. The ones that this iPad is leaning against right now, they're a smaller chamber, and I can have them decked a little bit and get away with a little more combustion, and that would help. But yeah, the reality of it is if I really want to go burn the world down, I need to put a screw blower on it. And I promise you, if you see a screw blower on my car, I'm not trying to run 295.
I know where a PSI blower is right down in my basement right now that I'm sure my dad won't notice is missing for like a good 5 years.
I'm on my way.
I'm pretty sure that neither him or your brother would notice it missing as little as they work on that old car.
So it may happen one of these days. I might be able to dump enough fuel to make enough power to get this thing to go A to B and do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw my dad get it before me. That car has been an absolute fucking rocket lately, and he's been tagging up 4 or 5 cones for the shutdown to try and run the number and break it out. So I think my dad might have something in there for all of us. But the end of the day, whatever gets Rick Morris and Billy Morris back out to the sand drags and hanging out playing guitar around the fire with me, dude, that's all I want.
There we go.
Absolutely.
I mean, I definitely would love to see the old heavy metal car. I'm so excited to get to see all these different vehicles that don't come out this way at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And
on that note, sorry, Caleb, didn't mean to run you over.
yep, no, you're good.
This is gonna kind of go off left field, but I promise it'll come back. My wife and I started a vinyl company. We do like shirts and shit. We did these shirts and all the stickers and shirts and shit for Triple Threat, and we're blowing that up. So we just decided this year that we're gonna buy a big trailer and a 6-arm screen printer or $6 screen printer, and a big vinyl printer. But I'm gonna buy a big enough trailer so I could put it behind my dually, and I don't have to drive that old ass Pete all the way back east. And we're gonna make it so we can fit both our buggies in with her shop and come back east and do the damn thing. That's the plan.
Come out and hit the Outlaw Series up.
I was gonna say that sounds like a really good excuse if you're gonna go and get that big blower from Kyle anyway. K-Dub gets out. That sounds like a good reason to come to Michigan to me.
Yeah,
Get up a few tracks on the way.
That's a bucket list track for sure. My dad raced there before I was born, I think, and he spoke nothing but good about it. He said it's a really, really nice facility and really nice people, and that's definitely we're going to be there. I don't know when, but there is no doubt in my mind that we're coming.
Now, talking about coming out here or where you guys have a challenging track out there to tune to the first time out there, if you guys come out to Cleves, do you talk about something that's a whole different surface?
Yeah, what's the deal with Cleves? So which one is Cleves? Is that the one with the...
That's Gravel-Rama.
Which one is Cleves?
Yeah, Gravel-Rama. All right, I got you. Yeah, I can't afford to do that yet because I could probably get there. But, dude, I'm racing on a budget. I don't know if you saw my Instagram story the other day, but we're dumping quarts of oil that have like that much left in them back into one quart so we can make a full quart.
It was just like my dad growing up, like the blower motor on a budget, like on credit, and then just like doing everything you can to run that blower motor in the funny car. So I hear you.
I don't know if you can read the name on the hood of this thing. It says leftovers.
So I'd be more than happy to go, but I know for sure if I came out there, I'd have to run a set of bigger diggers probably, and I'd probably have to find a set that were probably not in so well of shape because they're going to end up in way worse shape by the time I'm done, I'm sure.
Michigan, yes. Cleves, I'd run the scoops.
Oh, yeah?
It is the best way, and I think Isaac will agree on this, and Kyle probably too, having been there. Best way I can describe Cleves' track is like launching in wet concrete. It's got the consistency of sand, but the weight of dirt.
And then one of the water truck drivers will just stop on the starting line and bullshit with his friend for a while the water's running.
It will be wet concrete.
Yeah, for
Good
sure.
old Cleves.
It's a fun track, though.
That is true. So, all right. So, Dome going off this weekend. Race number 2 in the Arizona Sand Drag Challenge Series. So, really, for West Coast guys, this is what you've got to go on this for right now. I mean, that's pretty much what you have, unless you're going to make a big trip someplace else. So, and we lost the top eliminator guy. Go figure. All right.
I think he probably died on the wall and decided it was time to get back to work on the rear end.
He said he was on a budget. Maybe the internet shut off.
It is California. It could be a rolling blackout. Who knows?
Well, and we didn't really get a chance to talk about it too, but another buggy that they've got coming, Kylie's crew chief, Mikey Bermude, they are building a buggy for him. So they're just going to have, they're not tired of buggies yet, and they're all going to run top eliminator. So it's basically the whole Triple Threat Racing Graham family is going to just race against each other if that's what it comes to.
Again, better a V8 buggy dork than a wing ding.
You better watch your mouth.
You're staying with some wing dingers there, sir. You got it. Them fighting words.
I swear to God, I will.
At least you guys don't sit on the starting line and just crank on them for 5 minutes.
K-Dub, we're gonna go and kick him out and have him eaten by the coyotes.
All I know is bring my MacDaddy 4 mil triple pour and just rev the piss out of it in his pants. Like,
All right. Well, hey, looking for some really good footage from this weekend, guys. Anything else before we get this segment wrapped up?
I'm looking forward to Pro Mod, Top Alcohol, getting to see some of these cars that I've only ever seen videos of. Really, the only big West Coast car I have seen was when they came out for the Puerto Rico versus the U.S. race, and getting to see some of these cars that I know can run 240s, 230s, and getting to see that again is going to be awesome.
Fantastic. Caleb Mings, we know you have a large task ahead of you keeping
Oh man,
keeping Damian corralled a little bit, but
we're gonna keep those scrolls going, and actually, it is gonna be really helpful though, because this is gonna be hopefully a really good event where I'm not gonna just be the only person dividing my time between racing and coverage. So Damian being there, that means we're gonna have more live feeds for you, more videos coming, photos, everything. It's really gonna be a good deal, and lots of coverage coming.
It definitely makes a big difference when you have an extra set of hands out there when you're trying to race.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So that is going to wrap up our early Dome Valley preview. Be ready for all kinds of coverage this weekend. Make sure you stay tuned to World Sand Drag News and take advantage of that and check everything out. It's so live, it'll be like you're there. I guarantee it. So, all right, Caleb Biggs, take us home then.
Yeah, so we'll have tons of coverage from Dome Valley Raceway. You can check out all of our past coverages on our photos galleries. Just go to worldsandragnews.com, click on the photo tab, or you can go straight to it. It'll be our most recent one in our link in bio on our Instagram page. There you're going to find all of our photos from Dome Valley Raceway and all the other tracks that we've talked about in this episode and plenty more. Great place to go and get some photos of your favorite racers, and is a great way to support us. Digital downloads, metal prints, bamboo prints, framed options, unframed options, large format, you name it, we've got it. Hit up the worldsandragnews.com, click on that photo tab, buy some photos, and support what we do.